All right, are the middle class getting squeezed or just getting wealthier? A new study by Pew Research Center shows that over the last 40 years, the U.S. middle class has actually shrunk from 61 down to 51%. But over the same period, the percentage of the wealthy has risen from 14% to 20%. These are significant moves here. While those falling into the lower income category rose from 25% to just 29%. What's going on here? Lou Dobbs weighs in with his take. So are we getting richer or are we getting more poor?
The problem with a survey like this, Laurie, is it doesn't take into account the fluidity and the mobility of the American workplace and workforce. It hints at it with the 4% increase in the lower income and a 5% increase in the higher income. But doesn't really get to the fact that typically we break these things into fifths, quintiles, and we watch their movement over the course of a decade. In this case, 40 years. I would much prefer to have seen something on mobility. But the reality is, the stark reality is this, that net household income has fallen by 50%. Just about 50% over the course of that time, really over 30 years. And that's something to be very concerned about, but that's in large measure because of the 2008 financial crisis. Not as easy to explain as why wages have declined by 5% over the course of the past decade. That should be very troubling to all. It is something that we've got to deal with. Governor Romney, by the way, I want to say this if I may. Governor Romney is saying exactly the right thing. This is a man speaking straightforwardly, whether one agrees or doesn't agree. He has a choice to make with Ben Bernanke should he win. He's telling people precisely what he will do. He's telling people and investors precisely what he'll do in terms of QE3, in terms of his, to the degree that he can influence the direction of interest rates and easy money and environment. This is a man talking seriously as a businessman, as potentially the chief executive of the country. I have to say kudos to him for being straightforward.
Clarity is a good thing, isn't it?
If I could come in here with what to echo Peter Barnes' sentiment, I asked him, well, were you satisfied with Romney's definition of wealth and who is wealthy? And he quickly said no. So there's a lot of
Peter said no?
Peter said that he was not satisfied with Romney's.
What is wealthy? You know, the governor, Romney, said, well, look, I'll look at the 1%, I'll look at the 5%. But what does that mean, I guess, is what Peter's point was.
Well, to Peter's point on defining wealthy, let's be really clear. Over the course of those 5 quintiles, when we see upward mobility across our society and our economy, we are watching the creation of wealth. And when we see net household income rise, it has less to do with income than it does with the amount of income that one can keep and build up over time. And the degree to which the American people have faith that the next generation, their children, their grandchildren, will have better lives than they. For the first time in our country's history, right now, people are saying they don't have the faith that their children will have better lives. That is a demand and a clear call for new leadership, in my judgment, if ever there were one. This is not the America that we all have grown up in, and we certainly need to do better by our children than to disappoint them and further burden them with even more debt, which is precisely, I mean, I don't think we've had a much clearer choice between 2 men for president in my lifetime.
Thank you, Lou.
Thank you very much.
Join us back here tomorrow for another chat. And of course, 7 and 10 p.m. I love it when you get fired up. Eastern tonight, you can catch former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani.
Speaking of fired up.
Really? Join you, Lou, to talk about the race for the White House and the latest on the campaign trail. Look forward to that.
That will be good.
Thank you very much. Great to be with you.
Thank you, Lou.